All right. To continue the story, they, being the Western powers, they agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said. The Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for what the United States says, or the U.S. says, are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. That would be, the United States says, are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. They, Britain, France, and the U.S., they agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable, the spokesman said. The Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. So they want to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile to be handed over and to be underway by November. They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable, a spokesman said. Go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right, very good. The U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. Okay, go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and call for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right. Details of his chemical weapons. It's almost like W-E-P, weapons. Yeah, it's almost as if there's no A. Weapons, weapons, weapons. Chemical weapons, chemical weapons, chemical weapons. Go ahead.
They argue that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman says the Geneva Accord give Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and call for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right, very good. The U.S. says there are 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. So they're going to have to hurry up if they're going to do that. Okay, go ahead.
They agree that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. The spokesman said the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapon stockpile and call for what the United States say are about 4 or 5 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right. The program, i.e. the transfer of the weapons, is to be underway by November. Very good. Go ahead.
They agree that resolution must be strong, robust, and says precise timetables. As spokesman says, spokesman says, the Geneva
Accord
give Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and call for what the U.S. say are about 45 sites to the program to be underway by
November. Very good. 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. September, October, November. Wow, a couple months. Go ahead, Rick.
They agree that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set precise timetable. Spokesman said the Geneva Accord give Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapon stockpile and call for what the U.S. said are about 45 system
Sites.
sites lead to the program to be underway by November.
Right. A week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. A week to hand over details of the stockpile. Details of the stockpile. In other words, where are they? Go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for what the United States says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Yeah, very good. They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said.
They agree that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said. Geneva Accords gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpiles and call for what the U.S. say are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right. And calls for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November. By November. Go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable.
Yeah. Continue.
Start again.
Yeah, you can start again. You were interrupted. Go ahead. They agreed.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said, the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and calls for the U.S. what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right. Very good. Very good. A spokesman spoke. There's kind of an S in there. A spokesman said. Spokesman. They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said. Go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons stockpile and call for what the U.S. says are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Right. Very good. Very good. They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable, a spokesman said. You see that you should then pause for a brief, very brief, but a pause. There's a stop. Some places they call, in America, this is known as a period. In some other places, it's a full stop. But that usually lets me know that you're from England. But anyway, regardless of that, that's a full stop. So a spokesman said, then, the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad a week, etc., etc. Then it would roll on from there. Go ahead.
They agreed that the resolution must be strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A spokesman said, the Geneva Accord gives me this answer a week to hand over details of his chemical weapons, stockpile, and calls for what? The USA's are about 45 sites linked to the program to be underway by November.
Very good, Mr. Singh. Did everybody hear that? Did everybody hear that? That was a very good job.
Read and lead.
Yeah, read.
Very good teacher.
Yeah, I like that. Read.
Okay, did very good job. Because I have very good teacher.
Okay. Read and leave. That's one way to put it. Okay, Mr. Singh.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Promise? Promise?
Bye.
Is that a promise? Okay, here we go. The Western powers, Britain, France, and the United States, the Western powers agreed, they all concurred, that the resolution, the decision about Syria must be strong, robust, or complete and full. It must not be weak and narrow and very, no, it must be strong and full and complete. The resolution. It can't be weak, narrow, and indecisive. No, strong, robust, and set a precise timetable. A timetable would be Monday at 9 o'clock, you do this. Monday at 11 o'clock, you do this. Monday at noon, you do that. And I didn't say 11:05, or I didn't say 12:15. No, I said 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. Precise. Exactly on time. Not 12:30, not 11:22. No, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Precise. Precise, exactly on the schedule. The timetable. A list of times that things must be done. Exactly. Precise. Not if I say Monday, you say, well, maybe Wednesday afternoon's okay, huh? No. Monday, 11 o'clock. Boom. Exactly. Precise timetable. A spokesman. A person designated to speak for a certain group. In this case, the Western powers. It could be a spokesman, a spokeswoman, a spokesperson. But somebody speaking for a group, an organization, a company, or the Western powers. A spokesman.
It's mean also
To speak for.
The person who is the representation of the group.
Yeah, in other words, he's been designated by the group, by the company, by the temple to be the spokesperson, the one who speaks for the temple. Designated and official, not somebody off the street It then starts, well, I think we ought to do this, that. No. Somebody designated by the group, by the bank, by the company, by the organization to be the spokesman who addresses the press and the media and says, this is what happened. An official spokesman, not somebody pulled in off the street to say, hey, what happened? I don't know, hey, what did? No. Designated spokesman. Spokesperson, spokeswoman, depends. But a designated official person, not just somebody that happened to walk in the room and say, oh, no, designated, official spokesman. Geneva, Switzerland. We've talked about this before.
Switzerland, Geneva.
It's the UN Center in Geneva, Switzerland. It's not the capital of Switzerland. Bern is the capital of Switzerland, but Geneva is the city of the United Nations. The agreement, the accord, an accord, an agreement, an agreed resolution. An accord is in accordance with the rules. In agreement with this, the Geneva Agreement or the Geneva Accord gives Mr. Assad, the president of Syria, Assad, 1 week, 7 days, not 2 weeks, not 15 days, 1 week, to hand over, to give up the details, the precise information about the chemical weapons. The details, where are they? How many do you have? How long will it take you to find them, to present them, to give them up? What are the details of the chemical weapons? The type of weapons, where they're located, what they're going to be, what you're going to do about it. The stockpile. Stockpile. Well, you know, every store has its stocks. It's stock. Supplies. You know, the supplies. And a stockpile could be something like, this could be the chemical weapons piled up in a certain location. You know, a pile, a stockpile. If you were selling shoes in a store, you would have the shoes on display in front of you, but then you would have in the back room more shoes. You would have a stockpile, more or less. Just a supply that when you sell these shoes, you bring out the other shoes from the stockpile. The stockpile. So they're saying the details of his chemical weapons stockpile, where are they? How many do you have? And calls for what the United States says are about 45 sites. S-I-T-E-S. Same pronunciation as sites. He cites the enemy coming. Sites, or locations. A site is a location. What is the site of the temple? Oh, it's right here. Wow. We're on the site right now. The site, where is the site of the Temple of Dawn? Oh, it's right down the river here. A site, a location. In this case, 45 locations or sites. 45 locations or sites. Linked. Linked, what is linked? Yeah, connected. They're connected. Like a link, like a chain. You would have connected. And those 45 locations are connected to the chemical weapons program. Linked to the program. And what about that program? To be underway, to have started by November. Underway. We are underway. If you're on a ship and the ship leaves the port, you are underway.
ต่อไป
We're going. It's moving. We're underway.
ไปตามทาง
Underway. It's a word. Basically, it means that it has started. We are moving.
moving
Yeah.
start to teacher start to move it means start to move
Yeah. Link to the program that should be going, that should be moving by November. The program to turn over the weapons must be started by November. It must be underway by November. We're moving, we are underway. It's just the way it is, underway. If you were on a cruise ship and it left the harbor, you would be able to say, the cruise is underway. We are moving, we are beginning the cruise. We are underway. Any questions? Stockpile, underway, strong, robust, precise timetable, precise, exactly on time, precise. No questions?
อาจารย์แอคคอร์ด
Everybody understands everything.
Site, location,
Oh, sites?
spelling,
แอคคอร์ด
spelling, S-I-T-E-S.
Yeah, site. A site, I'm not talking about vision here. My site, S-I-G-H-T, site, same pronunciation, different meaning. My sight is not so good. I can't see. Where am I? My sight, S-I-G-H-T, sight, is not so good. My vision, sight, is not so good. Okay, that's one thing. This S-I-T-E, not S-I-G-H-T, S-I-T-E, refers to a location. And in this case, there were 45 sites. There were 45 places. There were 45 locations where the chemical weapons were stored. At least 45.
Teacher, site is I mean survey the site.
The what?
Survey the site.
Yeah. You're saying this, right? Survey. Survey the site. Yeah. To find out how big it is, what the soil's made of, survey all parts of the site. Or the location. Let's say where we're going to build a new temple. The site, see that empty field over there? See that empty field over there? That is the site of the new temple. The location where the new temple will be built. That empty field is the site, S-I-T-E, of the new temple. The location where the new temple will be built to.
Teacher, stockpile. I don't know.
You don't stockpile. Well, we'll go back to the story of the shoes. If you have a store that sells shoes, and on the display counter in the store, you have 6 pairs of shoes. And on a Tuesday afternoon, 3 people come in and each one buys 2 pairs of shoes. 6 pairs, 3 people, 2 pairs, shoes are gone. Whoa. Well, what do? You go into the other room in the back of the store and get more shoes. And then in the other room, you would go and get more shoes and put those shoes on the table. And you got your shoes from the stockpile. I can tell him, I can explain. He got his shoes from the stockpile. Extra shoes, where you store the shoes that when you sell these, you go get more shoes. From the stock room, or stock pile. A pile being something, a pile. That's a pocket. And you could say that they're shoes. You could say that they're all shoes, but you have a pile of shoes, basically. A stockpile, a reserve, extra of whatever it is that you have or need. Any other questions?
Entirely understand.
Entirely understand. Have a stockpile of information. Don't forget, weapons. Not weak, weapons.
Weapons.
Weapons. Chemical weapons. Right. Geneva. I never said Geneva. I said Geneva.
In Thai called Geneva. In Thai called Geneva. Not Geneva. Geneva.
We gotta change that.
นี่เองนะถ้าเกิดฝรั่งเขาพูดสำเนียงนี้เราจะรู้ว่าคือความหมายตัวนี้
Okay, we'll finish up with
คน
this.
ไทยเราไม่ได้เห็นเอา
We'll finish up with this little part of it.
อาจารย์เดี๋ยวร่วมเดี๋ยวร่วม
อาจารย์ขยันถ่ายเอาดีเลย
ระวังร่วงนะ
อะไรก็ไม่รู้
รีเบลแบตเตอรี่ไม่ถูกสตาร์ทเองinternational
เขียนเดี๋ยวเราจะไปแล้วอาซา
พรุ่งนี้เขียนมือซ้ายก่อนนะคะ
เห็นสวยด้วยดีไซน์
มิสเตอร์จอห์นก็มือซ้ายแฟนเราก็มือซ้าย
อินเทอร์เน็ตอาซาที่เป็นมา
ชื่อผู้นำซีเรียอาซาด
ชื่อผู้นำขอบคุณค่ะ community
โอเค Rebels battling Assad. Rebels battling Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate his grip on power. Wow. And put moves to provide them with more support on hold. Rebels battling Assad fear the international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate his grip on power. Whoa. And put moves to provide them, the rebels, with more support on hold. And put moves to provide them with more support on hold. Go ahead.
Rebels battling Assad fear. The international community's new focus on the chemical weapons issue will consolidate his grip on power and put moves to provide them with move support on hold.
Yeah, and put moves to provide, remember your V sound, provide them with more support on hold. Go ahead.
Rebels battling Assad fear. The international communities will focus on the chemical weapons issue. Will consolidate his grip on power and good moves to provide them with more support on hold.
On hold. Rebels. 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 Go ahead.
Liberals battling others fuel the international community's new focus on the chemical response issue, which consolidates his grip on power and push moves to provide them with move support on hold.
Hold. Remember to finish the word. It is not put on hold. Hold. Hole in the ground. Hold. Hold. No. Hold. Changes the whole meaning of the word. A hole in the ground? No. A hole. Okay.